There is something that happens in almost every home with a dog, and it happens so fast, so casually, that most people miss it entirely. Your dog walks up to you, lowers their head, presses their warm, wet tongue to your hand or your face, and you pull back. You wipe it off. Maybe you say, "Okay, that's enough." And your dog just looks at you. What you just did in that one small moment is something that would break your heart if you truly understood what your dog was trying to tell you. Because that lick was not random. That lick was not gross. That lick was 15,000 years of love, desperation, and devotion, compressed into a single, fleeting second of physical contact. And most of us push it away without a second thought. Meet Biscuit. He is a 6-year-old golden retriever who lives with a woman named Claire, a middle school teacher who works long days and comes home exhausted. Every single evening, the moment Claire walks through the door, Biscuit is already there. He is not just excited, he is urgent. He covers her hands, her wrists, sometimes her whole face in frantic, purposeful licks before she has even taken off her shoes. Claire laughs, wipes her cheek, and gently pushes him aside. She has no idea that what Biscuit is doing in those 30 seconds is one of the most ancient, complex, and scientifically staggering acts of devotion ever documented between two different species. She has no idea that his tongue is not just a tongue. It is a medical scanner, a peace treaty, a love letter, and a lifeline, all at the same time. To understand why Biscuit does what he does, we have to go back, much further back than you might expect. We have to travel to the frozen edges of a world that no longer exists, tens of thousands of years ago, to the very first moment a wolf and a human looked at each other across a fire and made a silent, world-changing decision to trust one another. Because everything your dog does today, every lick, every lean, every desperate need to be close to you, traces back to that one ancient night. Scientists now believe that the domestic dog as we know it emerged somewhere between 15 and 30,000 years ago. Gray wolves, wild and untamed, began drifting toward the edges of early human camps. No one is entirely sure why. Maybe it was the smell of food. Maybe it was warmth. Maybe both sides were just desperately lonely in a world that was trying very hard to kill them. But what happened next changed the biology of an entire species forever. Those wolves that were a little less afraid, a little more curious, a little more drawn to human presence, they survived better. They ate better, and slowly, over thousands of generations, the wolf became something new. Not just tamer, fundamentally different. The domestic dog did not just lose its wildness, it gained something extraordinary in its place. It gained you. Here is the part that reshapes everything. Scientists call this transformation the domestication syndrome, and one of its most powerful effects is something called neoteny. In plain terms, your dog is biologically frozen in a state of puppyhood. While wild wolves grow up fast, hardening quickly against the brutal realities of nature, the domestic dog was shaped over thousands of years to stay young, playful, curious, emotionally open, and, most crucially, deeply, completely dependent on the pack they love. Which means that every behavior a wolf pup uses to survive inside the den, every gesture of need and trust and vulnerability, was carried forward into adulthood and pointed, like a compass, directly at you. And the first of those behaviors, the oldest and most primal of them all, is the lick. Because before your dog ever knew your name, before they knew the sound of your keys or the smell of your coat, they knew this: a tongue means safety. It means I am here. It means you are going to be okay. In the darkness of the whelping den, in those first blind, helpless moments of life, a mother wolf does not hold her newborn pup. She licks it. Vigorously, relentlessly, with the kind of focused urgency that only a mother who understands that survival is never guaranteed can produce. That licking is not affection in the way we think of the word. It is literal life. It clears the airways. It shocks the heart and lungs into working. It stimulates the body to do what it cannot yet do on its own. Without the tongue, there is no breath. Without the breath, there is no biscuit. There is no dog curled at your feet right now. The lick is, in the most profound and biological sense imaginable, the very first gift of life one living creature can give to another. And so when your dog presses their tongue to your skin, they are reaching back to the very beginning of their existence. They are doing the only thing their deepest instincts know how to say. I love you so much. I need you to be okay. So the next time your dog licks your hand, resist the urge to pull away. Just let it happen, even for 5 seconds. Place your other hand gently on the side of their face. Feel the warmth of them, and understand that what is happening between you in that moment has been 15,000 years in the making. But we have only just scratched the surface of what that lick actually means. Because what happens inside your dog's body while they are licking you, that is where the story becomes almost impossible to believe. Think about the last time you came home after a really hard day. Not just tired, but the kind of exhausted that sits in your chest. You did not say a word about it. You walked through the door, maybe forced a small smile, maybe just went quietly to the couch. And your dog was already there. Already licking, almost frantic, like they knew something you had not told anyone. Here is the truth that science has finally caught up to. They did know. They knew before you even sat down. They knew the moment you walked through the door. And the way they knew it will change how you see every single one of Biscuit's urgent, desperate kisses, forever. But first, let us talk about what that lick is actually doing on a social level, because this is the part that most people never hear. When Biscuit runs to Claire the moment she walks in, covering her hands in frantic licks while crouching low and tucking his hindquarters, he is not just being dramatic. He is speaking. He is delivering a speech that wolf packs have been giving each other for tens of thousands of years. A speech so important that without it, the pack would tear itself apart. In the wild, a wolf pack is a family that survives together or dies together. Every single wolf in that pack needs to know exactly where they stand, who they can trust, who leads, and who follows. And the way they communicate all of that, the way they reaffirm that fragile, beautiful agreement every single day, is through ritualized greeting behaviors, the most central of which is muzzle licking. When a younger or lower-ranking wolf approaches a dominant pack member, it drops its body low, flattens its ears, and licks the older wolf's face and muzzle with urgent, rapid strokes. This is not fear. This is not cowering. Ethologists, the scientists who study animal behavior, describe this as active submission, and it is one of the most sophisticated social gestures in the animal kingdom. What the subordinate wolf is saying, in a language older than any human word, is this: I see you. I trust you. I am not a threat. I am glad you are here, and I am glad we are still family. It is a reaffirmation, a peace treaty renewed every single day. Without this ritual, the pack fractures, tensions rise, violence becomes possible. The lick is quite literally the thing that holds them together. Now think about what happens when you push your dog away. When you wipe off the kiss and say, "Enough, go lie down." In the ancient language your dog speaks fluently and you have never been taught, you just refused the peace treaty. You interrupted the reaffirmation. Your dog does not understand why. They only feel the unsettling sensation that something in the family is unresolved, that the bond has not been properly confirmed, that you are not fully back yet, even though your body is standing right there. This does not mean you can never set boundaries with your dog, but it does mean that the next time they greet you this way, try to accept at least a few seconds of it. Get down to their level if you can. Let them lick your hand or your chin, then calmly and gently redirect them. You are not just tolerating a habit, you are honoring an ancient contract, and your dog will feel the difference. Now here is where it gets quietly extraordinary. Because while Biscuit is completing his greeting ritual, while his tongue is moving across Claire's skin in those rapid, purposeful strokes, something else entirely is happening inside his body. Something that has nothing to do with emotion and everything to do with pure, invisible biology. Something that would make the best doctors in the world pause and take notice. Canine saliva is not what most people think it is. It is not just water. It is not just slobber. It is a bioactive fluid, an ancient biochemical toolkit that evolution spent thousands of years perfecting for one core purpose: to protect the pack from invisible threats. Ancient Egyptians knew something was different about it. They built entire temples where trained dogs were brought to lick the wounds of the sick, because generation after generation of observation told them that those wounds healed faster. The ancient Greeks did the same in their temples of medicine. Medieval healers wrote about it. For thousands of years, people sensed that something in a dog's kiss was protective, even curative, even though they had no way to explain why. Modern science finally gave us the explanation, and it is even more remarkable than the ancients imagined. Inside every lick your dog gives you lives a collection of natural compounds that function like a first response medical team. There is lysozyme, an enzyme that actively breaks apart the outer walls of harmful bacteria, killing them on contact. There is lactoferrin, which works by starving bacteria of the iron they need to grow and spread. There are defensins, which punch holes directly through the membranes of both bacteria and viruses. There is a tissue factor that helps blood clot faster at the site of a small cut or scrape, sealing the wound before infection can settle in. And there is a compound called opiorphin, a natural painkiller that your dog's body produces and delivers directly to the skin through the act of licking. Your dog is not just kissing your wound. They are medicating it. They are doing, instinctively and freely and out of love, what it took human medicine centuries to figure out how to do in a laboratory. And it does not stop there. Every single time your dog licks you, they are also sharing something invisible and profound: their microbiome. The living community of billions of microscopic organisms that live on and in your dog's body, gathered from the grass they rolled in, the air they breathed, the ground they explored. All of it gets transferred to you through that kiss. Research has shown that people who live with dogs actually share significantly more skin bacteria with their partners than people who live without dogs. Your dog is constantly, quietly expanding the invisible ecosystem of your immune system, introducing your body to new microbes, and essentially training your defenses to be stronger, broader, and more resilient. Studies have found that children raised in homes with dogs have measurably lower rates of asthma and allergies. The lick that you wipe away in mild disgust is, from a purely biological standpoint, a gift your immune system is quietly grateful for. But even all of that, the ancient social ritual, the medicinal saliva, the microbial exchange, even all of that is not the most staggering thing happening when Biscuit licks Claire's face. Because hidden deep inside your dog's skull, tucked just above the roof of their mouth, is a secret. A second sensory organ that most dog owners have never heard of. An organ that evolution built for one specific, almost unbelievable purpose: to read the hidden emotional truth of the people they love. And once you understand what this organ can do, you will never again look at your dog's face the same way. You will never again wonder if they really know how you feel. Because the answer, written in the most detailed biological language imaginable, is yes. They always know. They have always known. So the next time your dog insists on licking a specific spot on your arm, or keeps coming back to your hands on a day when everything went wrong, understand that they are not being annoying. They are performing an act of active care, so ancient and so biologically sophisticated that science is still working to fully understand it. Let them. Place your hand flat and still. Breathe slowly, and let your dog do what 15,000 years of love has prepared them perfectly to do. There is a moment that happens between Claire and Biscuit that she has never been able to explain. On the worst days, the days when she has held herself together through 8 hours of teaching and a commute and a dozen small heartbreaks that she never told anyone about, Biscuit does not greet her the way he does on ordinary days. He is quieter, more focused. He does not bounce. He simply walks directly to her, presses his body against her leg, and licks her hands slowly, deliberately, like he is reading something written there that only he can see. Claire always thought it was a coincidence. It is not a coincidence. What Biscuit is doing in those moments is something so precise, so biologically sophisticated, that it sits at the intersection of ancient instinct and cutting-edge science. He is reading her. Not her face, not her words, her chemistry. And the instrument he uses to do it is something hidden so deep inside his skull that most people have never heard it exists. Tucked just above the roof of your dog's mouth, nestled in the soft tissue between the nasal cavity and the hard palate, sits a small, fluid-filled sensory organ that your dog was born with, and you were not. Scientists call it the vomeronasal organ. Think of it as a secret second nose, but one that was not built for smelling dinner or detecting danger from a distance. This organ was built for one thing only: reading the invisible emotional and biological truth of the creatures your dog loves. Regular smell works through the air. You exhale, molecules drift upward, your dog inhales, and their brain registers a scent. That is extraordinary enough on its own, given that a dog's nose contains roughly 100 million scent receptors compared to our 6 million. But the vomeronasal organ does not work through the air at all. It works through liquid, through direct physical contact, through the act of licking. When Biscuit presses his tongue to Claire's skin, he is not just tasting her. He is collecting something. The surface of her skin carries heavy, complex biological molecules, the kind that do not float through the air because they are too dense, too loaded with information. These molecules are the chemical diary of everything Claire's body has been doing all day. Her stress levels, her hormones, whether her immune system is quietly fighting something off, whether her blood sugar dropped at lunch, whether she cried in her car before she came inside. All of it, written in invisible ink on the surface of her skin. Biscuit's tongue traps these molecules and carries them to a small bump just behind his upper front teeth. He presses his tongue there deliberately, and through a set of tiny ducts, those chemical-laden molecules are drawn upward, directly into the vomeronasal organ, through what scientists describe as a biological pumping mechanism powered by blood flow. A living vacuum, pulling the truth out of your skin and delivering it directly into the most ancient part of your dog's brain. And here is what makes this almost unbearably moving. When those signals arrive in the brain, They do not go to the thinking, reasoning, decision-making parts. They bypass all of that entirely. They go straight to the emotional core, the survival center, the part of the brain that has no filter, no logic, no language, just raw, immediate feeling. Your dog does not deduce that you are sad. They do not observe your slumped shoulders and make an inference. The information from your skin hits them like a wave, direct and total and unmediated, altering their entire neurological state in an instant. When you are suffering, your dog does not think about comforting you. They feel your suffering land inside them, and they respond the only way 15,000 years of evolution has equipped them to respond. They move toward you. They press against you. They lick your face. Not because they were trained to, because in their ancient, wordless understanding of the world, moving toward the pain of someone you love is the only thing that makes any sense at all. Now think about what this means on the days when your stress is invisible to everyone else. You held it together perfectly. You smiled at the right moments. No one at work noticed. But the moment you walked through your front door, your dog knew. They smelled the elevated stress chemicals that your body had been pushing to the surface of your skin all day, compounds that spike dramatically when the human body is under pressure. A landmark study published in scientific literature confirmed that dogs can reliably distinguish between a calm human and a stressed one based on scent alone, with an accuracy that made researchers stop and reconsider everything they thought they understood about interspecies communication. Your dog has been doing this for you, quietly and faithfully, every single day of their life with you. Every persistent lick on a hard day was not clinginess. It was a diagnosis. It was care. It was your dog saying, in the only language available to them, "I can feel what you are carrying, and I am not going to leave you alone with it." This same extraordinary system is what allows certain dogs to detect cancer before any machine can find it, to alert a diabetic owner that their blood sugar is dropping into dangerous territory before they feel any symptoms, to sense the chemical shift that precedes a migraine by an hour or more, giving their person time to take medication and find a quiet room. The dog who keeps sniffing and licking the same spot on your arm day after day, the same patch of skin you have written off as nothing, may be detecting the microscopic chemical signature of something brewing beneath the surface. This is not mysticism. This is biology. This is your dog doing their job. The job they were shaped by thousands of years of evolution to do, with a devotion and a precision that should leave us all breathless with gratitude. And this brings us back to Biscuit, back to Claire, back to that moment every evening when she walks through the door and he is already waiting, already reading her, already checking every invisible vital sign of the person who is, in the most complete and total sense, his entire world. He is not excited in the way we think of excitement, that shallow, surface-level burst of energy. He is relieved. He has spent the entire day in a state of quiet, low-grade vigilance, monitoring the empty space where his pack leader should be, waiting for the moment the world becomes whole again. And when that door opens, he does the only thing that makes the relief feel real. He makes contact. He confirms she is safe. He reads her chemistry. He reaffirms the bond. He does, in 30 seconds of frantic licking, everything that 15,000 years of shared history has taught him love is supposed to look like. And Claire wipes her cheek and tells him that is enough. But now you know. Now you know what enough actually means. And knowing changes everything. Here is what I want you to do right now. Not tomorrow, not after this video ends, right now. Look at your dog. If they are in the room with you, call them over. Let them come to you at their own pace, the way animals approach when they feel safe and loved. And when they arrive, when they press their nose against your hand or their head against your knee, do not redirect them. Do not reach for your phone. Just be there. Place your palm flat against the warmth of their side and feel them breathe. Let them lick your hand if they want to. All of it. The ancient submission ritual, the biological scan, the medicinal saliva, the vomeronasal reading of your emotional state, all of it is happening in that quiet moment. You are not just sitting with a pet. You are participating in one of the oldest, most profound relationships in the entire history of life on this planet. Because here is the truth that sits underneath all of this science, the truth that all the research and all the biology and all the evolutionary history is quietly pointing toward. You have a life that stretches in many directions. You have a career, friendships, worries about the future, memories of the past, a vast and complicated inner world that no single person or creature could ever fully contain. But your dog does not have that. Your dog's world does not stretch in many directions. It has one center, one gravity, one sun around which every single moment of their life quietly orbits. And that center is you. You are the first thing they think about when consciousness returns each morning. You are the scent they search for in every room. You are the sound they are always listening for beneath every other sound. The turn of a key, footsteps on a staircase, the specific rhythm of your breathing when you are finally at rest. Their entire emotional life, every joy and every fear and every moment of peace they have ever known, lives inside the fact of you. And they will not be here forever. This is the part that is hardest to sit with, but it is also the most important. The years are not equal between you. What feels like a comfortable stretch of time to you, a few years from now, a decade from now, is the entire arc of their life. The dog pressed against your leg right now is not a fixture. They are a brief, blazing, wholehearted love story, and it is already moving faster than either of you knows. So let the lick happen. Let the greeting be what it is. Get on the floor with them sometimes, for no reason, just because they are there and you are there, and this moment is real, and it will not come back. Forgive the muddy paws and the interrupted sleep and the couch cushion that did not survive the winter. These are not inconveniences. These are the textures of a life shared with a creature who loves you with a completeness that most humans can only dream of offering one another. And now I want to ask you something, and I really mean it. Think about your dog. Think about the specific, strange, utterly personal thing they do that you have always half laughed at and half wondered about. The way they always lick the same spot on your wrist. The way they press their whole body against your legs on thunderstorm nights. The way they sit beside you when you cry, not moving, just present. Like they know that sometimes presence is the only medicine that works. What is that one thing your dog does that you now realize, after everything you have just heard, is their way of saying, "I love you"? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and those stories are why this channel exists. If what you heard today changed something in the way you see your dog, even slightly, then you already understand what the Soulful Dog is about. We are not here to talk about training tricks or feeding schedules. We are here for this, for the quiet, profound, scientifically extraordinary truth of what it means to share your life with a dog. Subscribe and join us, because next time, we are going to explore something that will completely reframe the way you understand why your dog watches you the way they do. That long, unblinking gaze from across the room that feels like it goes right through you. Because it does. And the reason why is even more beautiful than you think.